Look at this! I just got my genetic panel back, and according to these results, my blood type puts me at a 64% higher risk for one specific disease, but also gives me a hidden advantage that 92% of doctors never tell their patients about. My hematologist looked at these markers and said, "This explains everything about your health patterns." And here's what's crazy. I've had this information written on every medical form since I was 5 years old, type O positive. I just never knew what it actually meant. I spent 3 months diving into over 40 peer-reviewed studies about blood type genetics and discovered something that honestly kept me up at night. I'm going to show you the exact hidden advantages and risks of each blood type, the evolutionary science nobody talks about, and why that little letter on your medical chart might be the most overlooked piece of your health puzzle. And hey, if you want more science-backed health content like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. I drop new videos every week that could literally change your life. Let's get into it.
Here's my confession. I used to think blood types only mattered for transfusions, emergency room stuff. Donate blood, check the compatibility chart, move on. I'm type O positive, and for 32 years, I never gave it a second thought beyond that. It was just a fact, like having brown eyes. Then, 6 months ago, I'm at my doctor's office for a routine physical. She's going through my family history, heart disease on my dad's side, type 2 diabetes on my mom's side, the usual genetic lottery nobody wins. She stops, looks at my chart, and says, "You know, your blood type actually gives you protection against certain conditions, but makes you vulnerable to others. Have you ever looked into this?" I'm sitting there like, what? My blood type affects more than just transfusions? She sends me home with a study from Harvard. I find another from the University of Pennsylvania, then the American Heart Association. I'm reading these at midnight, highlighting sections, and slowly realizing
the results
we've
are
been
back,
sitting on this
and
information for
unfortunately,
decades,
they aren't
and
what we
almost
hoped for.
nobody knows about it.
We need to discuss the
So
next
I went down the
steps.
rabbit hole. Full
The
genetic
results are
panel,
back,
metabolic
and
testing,
unfortunately, they
inflammatory markers. I wanted to see if the science actually showed up in my
What we
personal
hoped for.
biology.
We need to
By
discuss
the end of this
next
video,
steps.
you'll understand 3 things. What your blood type reveals about your immune system, the specific advantages and vulnerabilities you inherited, and most importantly, what you can actually do with this information. Because this isn't pseudoscience. This is evolutionary biology hiding in plain sight. Your blood type is determined by antigens, protein markers on your red blood cells. Type A has A antigens. Type B has B. Type AB has both. Type O, no antigens at all. These aren't random. They're evolutionary adaptations. Type O is the oldest, the hunter-gatherer blood type. High protein, strong, immediate immune response. Type A emerged with agriculture. More grains, settled communities, different disease pressures. Type B developed in the Himalayas among nomadic tribes, adaptation to dairy, extreme climates. And AB, the newest, rarest type, less than 5% of the population. Now, here's what shocked me. A 2021 study in Blood Advances found that people with type O blood have a 13 to 26% lower risk of severe COVID-19 compared to other blood types. Why? Those A and B antigens? Certain viruses can use them as entry points. Type O, with no antigens, doesn't give viruses the same foothold. I immediately texted my wife, "Babe, you need to see this." She's type A, I'm type O. We both got COVID in 2022, but her symptoms were brutal compared to mine. I thought it was random chance. Turns out, it was written in our blood. But here's the critical part. Type O isn't better, because while I have viral resistance, I also have other vulnerabilities. Which brings me to something fascinating. I've struggled with digestive issues my whole life. Bloating, energy crashes, that weird afternoon slump no amount of coffee fixes. Then I found research from the Journal of Proteome Research showing that your blood type directly influences your gut microbiome, the bacteria in your intestines. Different blood types create different gut environments. Type O individuals have bacteria that thrive on protein and fat. Type A has bacteria adapted to breaking down carbohydrates and plants. This hit me like a truck. I'm type O. My ancestors were hunters. High protein, high fat, minimal grains. And what was I eating? Bagels for breakfast, pasta for dinner, tons of bread and processed carbs. So I ran an experiment. For 30 days, I shifted to higher protein, lower carbs. Not keto, just more aligned with type O biology. More eggs, more fish, more vegetables, less bread. Week 1, felt worse, more tired, almost quit. Week 2, something shifted. Afternoon crashes disappeared. Energy felt steadier. Week 3, digestive issues gone. No bloating, no stomach problems. By day 30, I'd lost 8.3 pounds without trying. Resting heart rate dropped 4 beats per minute. I felt like I'd unlocked a cheat code. A 2018 study in BMC Genomics found measurable differences in how blood types metabolize fats, proteins, and carbs. If you're type A struggling on high protein diets, this might be why. If you're type O feeling terrible eating tons of grains, same thing. Quick pause. If this is blowing your mind like it did mine, smash that like button. It tells YouTube to share this with more people. And drop a comment with your blood type and biggest health struggle. I read every single one. Now, let me show you the disease risk patterns that nobody talks about.
Remember that 64% increased risk I mentioned? A massive 2021 Harvard study, over 100,000 people followed for decades, found stark patterns. Type A, 20% higher risk of stomach cancer compared to type O. Why? Those A antigens are similar to H. pylori bacteria, linked to ulcers and cancer. Your immune system might not recognize the threat quickly. Also, significantly higher blood clot risk. If you're type A with a desk job, long flights, not moving much, you need to know this. Type B, increased susceptibility to E. coli and salmonella infections. But weird advantage, lower heart disease rates compared to type A. Type AB, the wild card, an 82% higher risk of cognitive decline and memory issues as you age. A 2014 neurology study found this. 82%. That's massive. Type O, me, lower blood clot risk, lower heart disease rate, better viral resistance, but higher risk of ulcers, bleeding disorders, and certain autoimmune conditions. I'm reading this thinking about my family. My grandfather, type O, died of a bleeding ulcer at 58. My uncle, type O, has ulcerative colitis, an autoimmune condition. Suddenly, these random family health problems weren't random. But here's what frustrated me. Nobody knew this. No doctor ever said, because you're type O, be careful with NSAIDs. They cause ulcers. Or monitor your gut health closely. The information existed. We just weren't using it. You know that positive or negative thing? Like O positive or A negative? That's the Rh factor. Most people think it only matters for pregnancy. Wrong. Rh negative individuals, only 15% of the population, have genuinely weird advantages and vulnerabilities. Journal of Neuroscience Research found Rh negative individuals have different brain chemistry, higher levels of certain neurotransmitters. They tend to have higher IQs on average, but also higher rates of ADHD and mental health conditions. And here's the evolutionary mystery. Rh negative blood should have been bred out by now, especially with pregnancy complications. But it persists. Some researchers think Rh negative individuals have advantages in high altitude environments or with specific parasitic infections. I have a friend who's O negative, universal donor, and when I sent her this research, she said, this explains so much. She's always had intense allergic reactions to things that don't bother anyone else. Turns out, Rh negative individuals have higher allergy and autoimmune rates. Not destiny, but a clue.
Here's the actionable breakdown by blood type. Type O. Thrive on protein and healthy fats. Vulnerable to ulcers, avoid chronic NSAID use. Manage stress. Natural cardiovascular advantages. Don't waste them. Watch autoimmune triggers. Gluten, dairy, inflammatory foods. Type A. Do better with more plant-based foods. Get screened for H. pylori if you have stomach issues. Blood clots more easily. Stay active, stay hydrated. Stress management is critical. Cortisol hits you differently. Type B. most adaptable to different diets. Be extra careful with food safety, higher infection risk. Natural cardiovascular advantages. Dairy might work well for you, unlike O and A. Type AB. Prioritize brain health early, cognitive decline risk. You inherit both A and B vulnerabilities. You're rare. Expect harder to categorize health patterns. Anti-inflammatory diet particularly beneficial. Important. This is not medical advice. This is supplementary information. Always consult your physician before major health changes.
3 months after applying this information, I got comprehensive blood work. Fasting glucose down from 98 to 87 milligrams per deciliter. Triglycerides down 47 points. C-reactive protein, inflammation, cut in half. Resting heart rate 72 to 68 BPM. Weight down 14.6 pounds, not even trying. But the numbers aren't the best part. I stopped getting that 2 p.m. crash. My digestion became predictable. If you've struggled with gut issues, you know how life-changing that is. Sleep quality improved. Mood stabilized. And I didn't do anything extreme. No crazy diet, no 5 a.m. workouts. I just aligned my eating with what research suggested for type O. My wife, type A, did the opposite. More plants, less red meat, more fish and whole grains. Same results, better energy, better digestion, better overall feeling. A 2020 meta-analysis in Nutrients found that eating according to blood type digestive strengths shows measurable improvements in inflammation, weight, and metabolic health. Not everyone, not guaranteed, but statistically significant. Here's what this isn't: a miracle cure. Here's what it is: another tool, another piece of the puzzle, another way to personalize your health instead of following generic advice. Because generic health advice doesn't work for everyone. Eat more vegetables is good advice, but which vegetables? Prepared how? In what ratios? Your blood type won't answer everything, but it might answer some things.
5 core lessons. 1. Your blood type is evolutionary heritage, not just a data point. You inherited immune patterns, metabolic tendencies, and disease vulnerabilities from your ancestors. 2. Personalization beats generic advice. The diet that works for your type A friend might wreck you if you're type O. 3. Risk doesn't equal destiny. Higher risk means get screened, watch symptoms, take preventive steps. Knowledge is power, not a prison sentence. 4. Small adjustments, big impacts. I didn't overhaul my life, just smarter choices based on better information. 5. This is just the beginning. We're in early days of personalized medicine. Your blood type is one accessible piece you can use right now. Think of it like a user manual. You wouldn't run diesel fuel in a gasoline engine. Same principle. Work with what you've got. Here's what to do right now. First, find out your blood type if you don't know it. Call your doctor, check old records, or donate blood. They'll tell you free. Second, leave a comment with your blood type and biggest health challenge. I'm reading every comment and I want to spot patterns together. Third, the big one, subscribe to this channel if you want more content like this. I'm diving into genetic methylation patterns next and how they interact with blood type for disease prevention. Next level stuff. Hit that like button if this gave you a new perspective. It helps more people find this information. Final thought. For 32 years, I carried around this information, type O positive, and never thought it mattered beyond emergencies. Now I see it as one of the most valuable clues to understanding my health. You have that same clue. You've had it your whole life. The question is, what are you going to do with it? I'll see you in the next one.